that the deal on the table is really not at the moment right for the UK, and I'll tell you why.
Listen to Boris the buffoon when he was our PM and in charge. Yes, we let this lazy egomaniac in charge of the whole country. Anyway, he was overseeing our future negotiations with the EU.
There's a couple of things at least. The most important is that really just in the last couple of weeks they've brought back the idea of this equivalence between the UK and the EU, which basically means that whatever new laws they brought in, we would have to follow, or else face punishment, sanctions, tariffs, or whatever. And it was put to me that this was kind of a bit like twins, and the UK is one twin, the EU is another, and if the EU decides to have a haircut, then the UK has got to have a haircut, or else face punishment, or the EU decides to buy an expensive handbag, if the EU decides to buy an expensive handbag, then the UK has to buy an expensive handbag too, or else.
So when Europe, our closest market, accounts for 42% of our exports, you would think it makes sense to be more in line with their standards to ensure smoother trade, which accounts for why export trade to the EU is in a slump.
A study has shown the export of British goods continues to be hit by post-Brexit trade restrictions. Economists at Aston University in Birmingham have carried out a comprehensive analysis of trade data from the 3 years since the UK left the EU. Our economics editor Faisal Islam has been looking at the findings.
Researchers at Aston University have carried out a detailed analysis of how UK-EU trade has changed in value, quantity, variety and destination after the UK officially left the single market at the end of 2020. They found the trade in British goods to the EU declined after Brexit, and that hit became more pronounced last year. The overall fall of 27% in exports to the EU and 32% in imports from the EU, compared to where the UK economy would have been without Brexit, only tells part of the story. The researchers found that agri-food, textiles and the wood and paper trades have been most affected. Larger EU countries held up better. UK trade with smaller, distant EU nations has been hit hardest, as small-scale exporters avoided sectors with the most customs red tape.
The new government has said it wants a reset of relations with the EU, but has ruled out rejoining the single market and customs union.
Click here for Britain is sick.